This is a special edition of The Buzz of Madison County. At the very moment of this broadcast, in Fishers, the service is commencing for thousands to honor and lay to rest a young man that paid the supreme sacrifice protecting part of Madison County. At last Sunday's press conference, Indiana State Police Public Information Officer Sergeant Scott Keegan began his statement to the public through reporters.
So again, this is a sorrowful time for law enforcement and definitely the community of Elwood. It's always a sad moment when an officer sacrifices his life in the duty of service to the community.
He went on to identify the Elwood police officer as 24-year-old Noah Shahnavez, a Fishers native, a 5-year Army veteran, and a recent graduate of the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. By now, you know we learned that the officer had conducted a traffic stop on State Road 37 near 1100 North. That's by the old Kmart in Elwood. The driver of the car he stopped would in an instant exit his vehicle and
had an AK-47 assault rifle, got out of the vehicle, fired through the windshield of the officer's car. The officer never got out of his vehicle, never had a chance to go for his weapon.
That's Madison County Prosecutor Rodney Cummings. 37 shell casings recovered at the scene, indicating that at least that many bullets were fired at the officer in the few seconds before the shooter fled the scene. He would be apprehended about half an hour later by police in Hamilton County. The assault rifle and a handgun still in his vehicle. A convicted felon in possession of a handgun and an assault rifle. Prosecutor Cummings told reporters,
"Very disappointing to me that a person with this kind of record who shoots at the police a number of times has his sentence modified. I just don't understand that."
This tragedy has impacted officers expressing their sadness and condolences from throughout the nation. But it hits nowhere harder than certainly his family and the community that he protected. Elwood Mayor Todd Jones.
Finding the right words today has definitely been a challenge. How do you put into words the feelings and emotions that we're all experiencing here today? Noah proudly wore the Elwood Police Department uniform. Serving the citizens of Elwood, he was part of our city family. A senseless act of violence robbed this young man of the life and career that he had ahead of him. On behalf of myself, my family, and a most grateful city, I'm asking you to keep Noah's family, Noah's friends, the Elwood Police Department, and our city in your thoughts and prayers as we attempt to navigate through this tragic time. Thank you.
And a very emotional Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter.
When is it going to stop? I wish I had the answer. This young man served this country for 5 years and chose to come back and serve a local community. And these senseless acts of violence perpetuate our society, and none of us understand why. But I'm confident here in Madison County that the right things will occur with the system that is built here with Rodney Cummings and the rest of the system here in Madison County.
Yesterday, Noah's chief, Jason Brizendine, spoke of Noah to his mourners.
Officer Noah Jacob Shahnavez courageously stood his post, representing what is best in society, going into places that the average person fears to tread, seeing things no one wants to see. By simply putting on his uniform and going to work every day, Noah made this country a better place to live.
A grieving and angered community is circulating petitions and social media demands for the death penalty as justice of Noah's slayer. Chief Deputy Prosecutor Andrew Hanna posting some words of his own in hopes of helping them to understand the legal side of the matter. In the same context, he told us,
"Well, we have a moral obligation to consider the views of Officer Noah Shahnavez's family in this case, and we are giving them time to lay their loved one to rest. Once we have a formal discussion with them and review the evidence of what remains in an ongoing investigation, we'll make a decision about the death penalty. But I want to be clear about the fact that we're strongly considering pursuing the death penalty in this case."
And while the prosecutor's office has legal boundaries to abide by, Mr. Hanna can probably understand those public calls for justice more than anyone might realize.
This kind of a situation hits terribly close to home to me. Of course, I have a duty professionally to remain objective, and that's what I will do. However, I'm a human being that my father spent 37 years at the Madison County Sheriff's Department. And I think when he was 26 years old, just a few years older than Noah was shot 6 times in a traffic stop in Anderson back in 1978. My brother was killed in a car accident at the same age in the northern part of the county. And I spent myself 4 years as a reserve on Elwood Police Department. And I know a lot of those officers and that police department and this law enforcement community. It means the world to me. We work very closely between our office and law enforcement, just naturally as a prosecutor's office. But of course, there is an obligation, and we're steadfast in being objective and prosecuting the case in the correct way, according to our duties and according to our obligations.
Carl Webb Boards II was arraigned this week in Madison Circuit 3, charged with murder, and a pre-trial conference is set for September. As we remember him and hold his family and fellow officers up in prayer, we ask for faith in those bringing him to justice. And as Superintendent Carter said,
"But I'm confident here in Madison County that the right things will occur with the system that is built here with Rodney Cummings and the rest of the system here in Madison County."
Godspeed, Officer Shahnavez. Your comrades have it from here. That's the buzz of Madison County.